Hello ladies and gentlemen, once again this is Jeremy Smith. Today we're going to be taking a look at two cameras side by side that I got lots of questions about. We're going to be looking at the Sony A6000 and the Sony RX100M3. You guys know that, of course, we just got done looking at the A5000 as well, and we may have to toss it in the mix at some point too. But I wanted to go ahead and make this video first because particularly on the A6000 video, I got lots of questions and comments about, the A6000 versus the RX100M3. The thing that's interesting about both these cameras is that right now, at least here in the US, the A6000 has an instant savings of $50 on it, so it ends up being $749 USD, whereas the RX100M3 is actually $50 more expensive, priced at $799 USD. So the A6000's actually, well, I'm not going to even make you guys watch the rest of the video. The A6000 is actually a much better camera for the cost. You do have a larger sensor in it. It's an APS-C size sensor, of course. It's 24 megapixels. It can take 11 frames a second. Of course, you guys know all this so far because you've seen my A6000 video. And of course, if you haven't, I'll post a link to it. But basically, yeah, I mean, specs-wise, the A6000 is going to be way, way better in that regard. Thanks to the larger sensor, we do see, we see almost 3 stops more of high ISO performance. So basically you can shoot at an ISO of 3 stops higher and get about the same amount of noise thanks to the larger sensor. You also have the advantage of being able to control your depth of field a lot more effectively. If you take a look at the photo, I'll go ahead and put this photo up now so you guys can see. You'll notice that I have a little side-by-side comparison here showing an A6000 shot at f5.6, which is the widest aperture of the kit lens. And I shot this at 50 millimeters, and that's given us about a 75 millimeter effective field of view. And then I also shot the RX100M3 at its longest focal length, which is an effective 70 millimeters. So we get a pretty apples to apples comparison there. But because there's a difference in sensor size between these two cameras, even though they have a similar field of view, the lens, of course, is a bit wider on the RX100M3, and because of that sensor to lens relationship, you'll notice that the shot taken at f2.8 with the RX100M3 pretty much has the same amount of depth of field as the shot at 5.6 on the A6000. So yeah, big difference there. So even though the A6000 doesn't come with a lens that's as bright, it does actually outperform the RX100M3 even with the same lens, because the lens is the lens is 2 stops faster on the RX100M3, but because of the sensor, you can shoot at an ISO of about 3 stops higher on the A6000. So really the A6000 still has an advantage even if we're using the kit lens. If we put a faster lens on, which is what I did in the next photograph I'll show you guys, I put on Sony's 35mm 1.8 and I took a shot at f2.8, and that lens yields about a 50 millimeter field of view on the A6000, and then I shot at about that same equivalent focal length with the RX100M3 at 2.8, and once again you can see a very, very big difference there. So if you're shooting with a 2.8 lens on the A6000, you have the ability to have even shallower depth of field. So big advantage on the A6000 in terms of advanced usability and image quality. One thing that is interesting though is the fact that the RX100M3 gives us the ability to shoot video in that less lossy XAVCS format. So it can do 50 megabit a second video, and it does have a built-in ND filter, so that's very nice as well. Unfortunately, neither of these cameras have a microphone input, so that's something that is definitely a downside. In my mind, if you're going to buy one camera and one camera only, definitely don't even hesitate to buy the A6000. In my mind, and this is something I've told people in person as well, in my mind, the A6000 is definitely the best all-around camera. And let's see if we take a look here. They're both, by DSLR standards, both of these are very tiny. So if you're used to using a DSLR already, and you just need something a little bit smaller, the A6000 makes more sense to me, especially with the kit lens. Even if you pair it with another lens, like maybe, for example, a 35-1.8 or something along those lines, you still have yourself a very, very small camera. I keep getting them confused. The RX100 Mark III is not that much bigger, really. They're both very, very similar, and they both have electronic viewfinders, which is cool too. If, however, you want something that's absolutely as small as possible, and you don't want to have to put up with a bigger camera at all, the A6000 is fairly small and compact compared to a DSLR. But, let's face it, it's not exactly pocket size. So if you want something that you can take with you and, stick it in your jacket pocket or something like that, this makes a lot more sense. So in my mind, the RX100 Mark III is a camera for people that already have other cameras. If you've already got a mirrorless camera, if you've already got a DSLR, if you already have both, and you just want something pocket-sized that's still going to give you a reasonably high level of image quality, the RX100 Mark III is for you. Otherwise, save yourself $50, get an A6000, and have a much better all-around camera. If you guys have any questions or comments, just write me below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And if you want to see the close-up features of both of these cameras, I will go ahead and put some links up for you guys so you can see both these cameras in more detail in their respective review videos. And also take a look at the comments below as well. At the description below as well. And I will actually put some links to the sample photos I showed you guys in the video also. Until next time, this is Jeremy Smith, signing off.